Arthur Devoda, I'm a senior.
Hello, I'm Victoria Paletti, I'm a junior.
I'm Kelly Rose, I'm a junior.
I'm Kayla Kiefer, and I'm a junior.
And I'm Dominic Paletti, and I'm a sophomore. We are the New Lothrop Hornets, and we are going to talk to you about our community outreach project. Next slide. New Lothrop is in Shiawassee County in the state of Michigan, and it's 20 miles south of the Shiawassee National Wildlife Refuge. Here's our school, and behind our school is the trail we've been working on. It's a 13-acre outdoor classroom located on school grounds. Students use it, community members use it, athletes use it, and there's 4 different ecological demonstration plots, and those are wildlife, diversity, early succession, and climax community. Here is a picture of our trail that is showing the length. This is 0.7 miles and this is 0.4. Past activities on our trail. It was constructed in 2008 and a stewardship plan was approved in 2009. In the years since, we've done forest inventory, multiple plantings, maintenance, timber harvest, and silviculture. This year, we did a project and we called it Enhancements to the New Lothrop Trail, and Arthur will explain to you why we felt the need for this project.
So this year, the purpose for our project was to address a major environmental problem, well, not necessarily environmental, but a problem in today's world, which is simply environmental awareness. So many people, and especially younger generations, simply lack awareness about the importance of the environment around them and how critical it is to their own sustenance. As you can see here, more than half of American adults report spending less than 5 hours every day outside. And the graph on your left, you can see how many millennials report to describe themselves as environmentalists. That's 10% less than all the previous generations before them. Next slide, please. So in order to solve this problem, we proposed designing a project involving creating signs with information about local bird species. Now, hopefully this would involve creating more concern for the wildlife on our trail, because in the past we've focused mostly on the forestry aspect and its importance to our community. Now, really, this also involved a leadership role for me, and it provided me that role to fulfill the requirements for my own Eagle Scout service project. I'll now pass it on to Kayla, who will describe how we started planning for this project.
Arthur first introduced the project to us at the beginning of the school year, and we thought it would be a great idea because we mainly focus on forestry with the trail, and tying in wildlife to it would just make it even better because then we connect all aspects of it. We immediately realized that our role was to make the signs and leave all of the managing to Arthur. He secured funding and got approval from the school board, as well as incorporating labor and other materials. First, we actually contacted an ornithologist at Michigan State University who connected us with other groups for information. Then we looked up sign templates on the internet and we came across a project very similar to our own. So we connected with a journalist who also connected us with the teacher who helped the student with her project. We asked a few questions on what we should avoid doing and what we should be doing, and that actually really helped us out. And when we finally made the template for the signs, we contacted Agnew Corporations in Owasso, Agnew Corporations in Owasso, and they helped us with our final adjustments, which Kelly will discuss.
All right. At the end of our project, we ended up with 12 signs. On the signs, some items include the QR code, a residency map, and some fun facts. The fun facts have things such as the scientific name, food, and habitat. Arthur and Dominic decided to research different bench designs before deciding along this final design. And then we walked along our trail with a map such as this one, and we located places to place the benches and the signs. We decided to place them near the trail so that it would be easier for people to use them. We placed the bird signs in places where the birds were most likely to be seen. And now Victoria will tell you more about the QR code.
So the reason we did the QR codes is when we were doing the project, we realized there was limited space on the sign, and there can be a lot of information about the different birds. So, while doing the process of the QR codes, we realized a lot of millennials and even adults walk around with their cell phones nowadays. So it's a way to connect the technology to the environmental aspect. And then on the Cornell Lab of Ornithology website, which is where we linked it to, you can hear the bird sound, so if you can't identify by looking around, you can identify by sound. There's extra facts, and it's just a fun place to look around. And now Arthur with some more information.
Alright. So besides all the other things, we also based our bird species that we selected on local surveys from previous years to make sure that the bird species we selected were relevant to the surrounding area. And also, I'd like to point out at this time that there's a lot of parallels between the Verifon project and our own project. I don't want to say mine, but I guess technically, whatever. Between scouting, yes. So, especially one about the outdoor code. So I've been in Boy Scouts for a long time, and this outdoor code is usually a very strict moral code about respecting wilderness and nature around us every time we go on a camp out, and making sure you clean up after you leave behind whatever, make sure it's gone. So we don't leave any footsteps. I think it's like, take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints is the motto we have. And yes, I think that involving the Boy Scouts in this project has helped increase the environmentalists in them as well. And I'm very thankful for that. Next slide, please. So thankfully we had a lot of donations for this project, and this shows how much help we had from our own community. So the New Lothrop Parent-Teacher Organization gave us $300 check, and we also had donations of lumber and decking from 2 local lumber companies, both worth about $100. As I said already, we involved the Boy Scout troop, my own troop, in the project, and we also had a lot of support from the area school's public staff and administrators and school board, as well as my family and our friends. Very helpful. This concludes our presentation. Are there any questions?
Okay, so we'll have 5 minutes for questions.
I have a question. How did you solicit the donations? You did a good job on getting donations. How did you solicit them?
So I originally wrote letters to the respective organizations, specifically the parent-teacher organization, early on in the project, and also presented my proposal to the school board, and that helped to secure that funding for us.
How many letters did you send out?
I only sent the one to the parent-teacher organization, but I caught on and received hints to seek out in person the others at the school board meeting.
And how did you assess the success of the project?
I think it went very well. We were able to work together with many different groups and ourselves and come closer as a team. And then we involved a lot of the community members and even people from other areas around us come and see our trail.
Did you do any kind of surveying or any kind of method to be able to get a handle on the feedback?
We did not implement any sort of feedback to receive. We just received a lot of positive comments as we've been working on the project, but originally in planning we did have an idea to maybe install some sort of like bird reporting program, but we just didn't have enough time to carry through with it.
Thank you. By the way, I like your signs.
Thank you.
They're very nice. Yeah, very, very nice. So did you do any additional reaching out to the community to see the surrounding community outside of the school board and your immediate little group, and the scouts, to see what the outlying community felt was needed for a project like this?
So when I mentioned how it was tied into my Eagle Scout project, and the months prior to when we began planning it, I was looking around for other Eagle Scout projects, and I just didn't have any success finding one. And I finally stumbled upon this idea, and I brought it up with several different community members, and I think some of my neighbors. I also talked to them about it, and they said that sounds great. I just stuck to it, and I'm glad incredibly how well it turned out.
Did you do any publicity within the school system or with the community to highlight your project?
I think our biggest publicity was going to the board meeting. So as I mentioned before, he did a pre-presentation before we did this project, and then yesterday we did another presentation to the school board, and there was a lot of people there because they were honoring the different teachers and stuff. So that was what we did for publicity.
How many people were at that presentation? About?
Between 30 and 40, I think.
I think I'm good on
Anything
questions.
else?
I think I'm good too, thank you very much.
I just wanted to comment that I thought that the fact that you did research to be able to come up with that particular sign that was
great.
excellent.
That was very
And
good.
signing